Clerk, open roll. Okay, clerk, close roll. Okay, we have a quorum. Thanks, Senator Norman. Had to leave. That's what I called.
Okay, that's good. The first delegate that has signed up is Delegate Adams.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members
Looks
of the
like
committee.
you've got 2405, sir.
Yes, sir. 2405 is legislation to add the city of Martinsville to the list of jurisdictions that are allowed somewhat different standards for the appointment of special commissioner to execute title and delinquency matters. As you can see, under Section B of the operative statute, we currently have Norfolk, Richmond, Hopewell, Newport News, Petersburg, Fredericksburg, and Hampton with a lower threshold to allow this circumstance. In Martinsville, there is a problem of blight that they are seeking to address. They've also established a land bank pursuant to legislation we've recently passed, and this would help them move that process along.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hager.
Mr. Chairman, it appears that the delegate is interested in simply adding Martinsville, which I think would be appropriate. It is also broader than that because Delegate Carr was doing some other things, and I believe we have a substitute just to add Martinsville on his bill.
Mr. Chairman, yes, sir. There's a line amendment to strike the change on line 35 and 36.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt that? Oh, excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
You want to run?
You're in charge today.
We all know that's not true. It's been moved and seconded that the line amendment adding Martinsville to House Bill 2405 be adopted. Is any discussion? If not, all those in favor of adopting that amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, and that amendment is adopted. It may not have been what you embraced, but I guess it is where we are. Do you have any additional comments to make, sir?
Well, just to say, I have no objection to that whatsoever. That was not included in my original bill. The language has changed with the substitute or the amendment that you've made, returns it to its original form. I'd asked for that amendment at the suggestion of staff and on the House committee just to allow it to more easily conform with what Delegate Carr was doing.
Is there a motion? Yes. It's been moved and seconded that House Bill 2405 with the amendment be reported. Any discussion? Hearing none, open the roll, please. Ayes 11, no zeros. House Bill 2405 is reported, and thank you for being with us, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's nice to see you.
Sir.
Delegate Arrett. No. Nope. Don't see. Delegate Brewer. Delegate Kilgore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I have House Bill 1666. I think y'all had a bill similar, Senator Carrico's bill on UVA-Y's reduced rate tuition. And
I move to be reported.
But, hold on just a minute. Just a minute. Senator Newman.
If it's not conformed, Terry, we need to conform it because
Yes,
the amendment that we put on it was pretty important in Ed and Health.
yeah, you need to conform it.
Chairman, if it's okay with you, sir, I'd move that we conform to the
I have no
Carrico's
objection to
bill.
that.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's moved that we conform the bill. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any additional comments from you, sir?
No, thank you, Mr.
We
Chairman.
appreciate your brevity. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, is there a motion? It's been moved and seconded that the conformed House Bill 1666 be reported. If you'd open the roll, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Ayes 13, no zero. House Bill 1666 is conformed as reported. Delegate Kresick. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you this morning?
Very good. HB 1937 is a bill that came from a constituent of mine who would have become homeless if the legislation, if this, if we can't get this legislation through. And what this does is it gives the localities the option to not count the income from individuals who are permanently or totally disabled that live with the elderly who are already exempted because of their income. What happens right now, what's happened with her is that her mother's on Social Security and she's, elderly and fixed income. She doesn't have any resources, and so she's able to take, she's able to use the current structure, in Fairfax County where she can get tax relief. And when her daughter, who's not her caregiver, there is an exemption currently in the code for caregivers' income, but she's not a caregiver, but she's still giving care.
All right, let's see if any member of the committee has any questions. Any member of the committee have any questions? Anybody in the audience who wants to speak in favor? Anybody who has a different opinion? Ladies and gentlemen, House Bill 1937 is before you. It's been moved and seconded that House Bill 1937 be reported. If you'll open the roll, please, sir. Ayes 13, no zero. House Bill 1937 is
Thank you, Mr.
reported.
Chairman.
Thank you for being with us, sir. Delegate Brewer, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I want to apologize for my tardiness. I was upstairs in the foster care
Sorry,
caucus
I
this
just
morning.
wanted to tell you we passed your bill by indefinitely, so I hope you're not upset. Good morning.
Good morning. I have before you House Bill 1731, just a little bit of a cleanup bill that the Treasurers Association has requested to strike well-bound books and replace that with the word record.
Does any member of the committee have any questions of Delegate Brewer regarding House Bill 1731?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator
just a
Hanger?
comment. I like looking at those old dusty books.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of dinosaurs around these days, sir, of which I happen to be of that genre. Okay. Anybody want to speak in favor of the bill? Anybody want to speak in opposition? Ladies and gentlemen, the House Bill 1731 is in front of you. Been moved and seconded, House Bill 1731 be reported. Open the roll, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, ayes 13, no zero. House Bill 1731 is reported. Thank you for being with us. Delegate Carr, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I see you have two bad bills this morning.
Maybe I can change your mind on those. Yeah, we'll look at 2060 first.
All right. You direct your attention to House Bill 2060, please.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the intent of HB 2060 is to strengthen an already existing tool in the toolbox of neighborhood revitalization for Virginia cities. In certain instances, localities may determine that it is more advantageous for them to take the deed of a property via a special commissioner rather than auction. When this happens, the localities can then sell these properties directly to nonprofits for $1 plus court costs. The nonprofits then build affordable housing. It is an efficient, cost-effective way to transfer tax delinquent and more often than not blighted properties to nonprofits, which will build new or renovate the home. What was once a community eyesore now becomes a community asset, and the property values of surrounding owners are enhanced, not diminished, and ultimately that means additional tax revenue to the locality. The change we are seeking simply keeps up with inflation and the rising real estate values in these communities. It has been 5 years since these amounts were raised, so we're asking simply for an adjustment that reflects the current market values in which our local governments and their nonprofit partners must operate.
Tell me what your bill does that Delegate Adams' bill did not do, please.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough. I appreciate your candor. Does any member of the committee have any questions?
His includes Martinsville, and
Right.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
This bill
All
is
right, I
supported
think-
by the realtors. I'd love to.
Let me see, Madam Staff, do we have an amendment that needs to be made?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Hanger.
as some of us were reviewing this, actually, I think the problem, particularly with me, was I wasn't quite understanding the impact of a couple of the changes. And we thought that what we might do is just amend it slightly to try to get it in conference so it could be figured out.
If we may, could we hear from Laura Lafayette, who's here at Richmond Realtors? And I think she could help us if you have some questions specifically that may be helpful for you.
I'm not sure it's going to change the direction that
All
this
right,
bill is
that's all right,
moving.
but I think it would just help
You know,
understanding.
I don't mean to be impertinent, I'm just
Yes,
being very
understand.
upfront with you about it.
I understand.
Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think, Lisa, do you have amendments prepared?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, the amendments on line 18 would strike $75,000 and insert $55,000. And on line 36, strike $150,000 and insert $110,000.
I would move those amendments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded that the two amendments changing the dollar amounts on the threshold be amended on the bill. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor of adopting that amendment as reported by Lisa signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Nguyen, yes, sir.
So does this change the requirements before a conveyance of any sort takes place? In other words, is the locality going to be able to get the property any quicker, or is it just whether or not it has to go to public auction or not?
No, it doesn't change it. Just-
Any further questions?
No.
Mr. Chairman, could we briefly hear from Ms. Lafayette just for?
Sure. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm well. Laura Lafayette, CEO of the Richmond Association of Realtors, and the chair of the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust, which is acting as the City of Richmond's land bank. The only thing that this bill does is simply raise the amounts, so it doesn't change anything in the process whatsoever. All the other criteria have to be present in order for the conveyance to occur. So the only thing, this is just one of those challenges in the state code. When you put a number in, you have to go back sometimes and adjust the number. And so that's simply the adjustment we're making, and I understand the amendment. In the case of City of Richmond and some of the other cities, we're asking for the amounts that are included in the bill because the escalation of values in the last 5 years have been fairly exorbitant. So that's why the number is what it is. But that's all the bill does, is try to keep up with not just inflation, but rising real estate values in these particular cities that have these very specific challenges with an abundance of vacant, tax delinquent properties. And in Richmond, we're talking about 3,000 properties. So that's the issue.
Senator Sasslaw.
Are these properties where the people simply moved away from the area and they're absentee landlords or something like that?
Some of the, I would say a number of the properties, some of the properties are absentee landlords, but particularly in the city of Richmond, we have a challenge with multiple heirs. And so one heir says, well, I'm not paying the real estate taxes. Well, I'm not going to pay the real estate taxes. These are often properties located in areas that have been disinvested. So you've got multiple folks who have multiple reasons for not paying their taxes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just tell you this. We used to use Guido in those circumstances, and it worked out real well.
Thank you for that enlightenment, Senator Sasslaw.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we certainly don't intend to harm your bill, but we, as we're looking at it, thought maybe if we could get it in conference and try to, in conference, if you reject this when it comes back to the House, come up with an appropriate number, or perhaps the number you suggested if the argument is made, and that's documented. So.
All right, thank you very much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the committee House Bill 2060 with the amendments is before you.
Move be reported.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. House Bill 2060 as amended be reported. Open the rolls, please. Ayes 11, noes 1. The bill is reported. Thank you for being with us. You have a second bill, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second bill is 2065. The JLARC report, Workforce and Small Business Incentives, which was put out in 2018, recommended eliminating the telework expenses tax credit or letting it expire on its expiration date for several reasons.
I think
Credit-
we're good. I think we're probably good there. Does any member of the committee have any questions regarding 2065? If not, a motion would be appropriate. Been moved and seconded that House Bill 2065 dealing with telework expenses be reported. Any discussion? If not, open the rolls, please, sir.
You don't like telework?
Ayes 12, no 1. House Bill 2065 is reported. Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you,
with
Mr.
us.
Chairman.
I don't see any other delegates here. How about, I don't want to be disrespectful to them, but I'm looking at House Bill 2290, which is Delegate Leftwich's bill dealing with the Fighting Dukes out of Harrisonburg, Virginia. We had the identical bill that Senator McDougal had, which was Senate Bill 1386, which passed out 38-0.
I move to report.
It's been moved and seconded that House Bill 2290, which was identical to Senate Bill 1386, is offered by Senator McDougal, be reported. Any discussion? If not, open the roll, please, sir. Ayes 13, no 0. The bill is reported.
There is a problem with it?
I don't want to fix it without a delegate here. That has a way of creating a contaminant. We have a couple of bills that are left. Delegate Allard has House Bill 2003, which the committee would anticipate a substitute might be offered, and I would be reluctant to take that up in the delegate's absence. And then we also have on the calendar House Bill 2539. At least I don't see it on the yellow list. No? Okay. Anything else, April, that I'm missing? All right. With that, the committee will rise and thank the audience for being with us this morning.